Hi everyone, this is Nisi and welcome to Saturday's tip of the day. So, today's tip is all about transparency. And I'm just going to start off by sharing with you who I am and why I'm very passionate about being a chronic pain ambassador and why I started Fibro Patient Education and Support Organization. I started Fibro Patient Education and Support Organization due to a series of events that happened in my life. Going back to June 2012, I was taken from work where I used to work in the pharmaceutical industry. I was managing a call center. I had a staff of 11 people, and I went to work and was having a lot of chest pain, headaches, had difficulty breathing. Went to occupational health, and paramedics was called. And unknowns to me, they thought that I was having a heart attack, but no one told me that. I get transported to the ER, and the ER doctor decided to admit me for observation. And when I was admitted, he actually came up to my room and he said to me, Miss Edwards, you seem like a very nice lady, but I need to share a couple of things with you. One, you are very stressed out. I've seen a lot of people from your place of employment in here, and many of them are stressed out too, but your stress level is at a heightened level. And next time you're not going to be so lucky. Next time you will be having a heart attack. And that really caught my attention. And he says, you need to take some time off of work, get some help, see a therapist, whatever it is, to get your stress level under control. And I says, but what's wrong with me? Why do I have so much chronic pain? He says, I don't know, but you need to see a doctor right away. So fast forward, I go to my current primary care physician at the time, and he was angry with me because I was off work and he was going to have to complete some paperwork. And he said to me, look, I don't have time, Nisi, to keep completing paperwork. You just went to the ER 6 months ago and was off work for 2 weeks. And now you're coming back again. And you need to just stop going there because there's nothing wrong with you. And I said, there is something wrong with me. I'm having chronic pain. I hurt so bad every day, and I need to know what's wrong with me. And he really aggravated me because he had been my doctor at this point for 7 years, and I trusted him up until this point. And at this visit, I said to myself, forget it. He's not for me. So I was discussing all this with a friend when I left his office, and she referred me to the doctor that she sees. And I went there, and after my second visit, I remember the doctor asking me, so did anyone ever tell you what's wrong with you? And I says, no. And he said, you have fibromyalgia. And I was stunned. And I was shocked because here it is, my second visit, and he's telling me I have fibromyalgia, but yet no one else that I had seen, all these doctors for my chronic pain, could ever diagnose me and tell me I had fibromyalgia. And he asked me what was going on in my life, and I told him that I managed a call center. I was being subjected to bullying, and this had been going on for 2.5 years, and I was just under so much stress. Now, mind you, I'm not one that easily cries, but when he asked me what was going on, I just broke down and just started crying because I just felt like I just had the weight of the world on my shoulders, no support, no one that really seemed to care about me or anyone in my corner that was willing to help me up until this point. And he just sat there. And while I just cried, and I remember him telling me it's going to be all right and that they would help me. And it was such a relief. And I remember saying to the doctor, I'm so sorry for just bawling my eyes out and just crying. I don't normally do that. I'm just so emotional. And what he said really validated me. And this is what he said to me. He says, based upon everything that you're going through, that you've dealt with, it's understandable why you would feel so emotional. It's understandable why you would be crying because if that happened to me, my goodness, he says, I can only imagine what that feels like, and I'm going to help you any way I can. And I says, well, I don't feel well enough to go back to work. And he says, don't worry about that. We're going to take you off of work. And they did for a couple of months, and they reassessed me. And he says, mm-mm, you're still not ready. You're not going to be able to go back. And my employer was on my back nonstop about when I would be able to return to work, that type of thing. They were calling me about my staff. I mean, they were creating more stress. And I was also worried about my staff. But this is the thing that I learned: you are replaceable. Trust me, you are replaceable. When you work for these jobs and you think they have your back, they could care less if you are out sick. Uh, I know that firsthand. The only thing they cared about was approving my staff's timesheets that they wanted me to do and their performance reviews. They didn't care about me. They didn't send me any get well card, nothing. It was out of sight, out of mind. Kind of like, what have you done for me lately? They didn't care about me. And that hurt a lot, but it taught me something. And this is what it taught me. And that was, no longer will I allow anyone to marginalize me, undervalue me, and underestimate me, because I have skill sets and skills, and I know a lot of things, and they may not value me, but that's okay, because I value me, and I better value who I am, because if I don't value who I am and care about me, who else is going to care about me but God? And that was my transformation at that point. And so this doctor that I was seeing, he referred me to a therapist to deal with the depression, because when you have chronic pain, you do get depressed. And talking to her, it helped me a lot. But then the fibromyalgia symptoms really was kicking my butt big time. I started having problems with fibromyalgia fog. I would drive somewhere, places that I've, gone to many, many, many times before, and get lost. Sleep issues. The waking up in the morning feeling like I've been ran over and hit by a truck. I just couldn't function. I would be speaking with someone and having a conversation, and in the middle of the conversation, I lose my thought as to what I want to say next. I would have appointments with friends to join them for lunch or dinner, and had to cancel or either forget that I had plans. They didn't understand what was going on with me. My family sure didn't understand what was going on with me. And my husband didn't understand either. He just knew that I wasn't the same woman that he had married. People would also say, well, you don't look sick. I suppose that's great that I didn't look sick, but at the same time, I was. It's an invisible disease. I may not have looked ill, but I sure was ill, because I had so much pain. I could barely walk. Sometimes my feet would just hurt so bad. I couldn't stand to smell certain scents. I mean, you name it. It just seemed like I was just falling apart. And one day, I remember just, again, bawling my eyes out. And I was just having a really bad pity party, because I just didn't know what else to do with myself. I just felt like I was an emotional wreck. And I didn't like that feeling, because I was used to, being the type of woman, a career woman, a professional woman, in control of things myself. So I thought, outgoing, the type of person that loved to entertain, give back, and help others. And here I am, I can't even help me, right? So that was not a good feeling, because guess what? I wasn't in control. At that point in time, not only did I have fibromyalgia, but it had me, and it was kicking me big time. And so this one day, I remember being in deep thought and prayer, and I kept saying, Lord, do you hear me? Do you hear me? I just need some help. And I remember God speaking to me clearly. I don't know what you believe in, what your higher power is. Um, and I don't really need to know. I'm just sharing with you my story, but I'm a Christian. And I remember when I was crying out to God for help and support, that I remember him speaking to me clearly. And this is what he said: what was meant for bad I mean for good. And instead of feeling sorry about yourself and your inability to do the things that you used to be able to do, get up and focus on helping others. And I thought, helping others? Well, what about me? But I remember what God said. And it was in the back of my mind and in my spirit to go to the cable studio because, see, I always wanted to have my own talk show on the local public access channel here in town. But in years past, they would never approve me because they would say you need to go to the producer's class to learn how to produce a show, or when the training would be provided, I could never go because of my work schedule. It was always one thing after another. But guess what? This is how I know it was divine intervention. When God told me to get up and do something about it and help other people, and I went to the cable studio and told them I wanted my own show, they asked me, so what would that look like and why do you want your show? I shared with them my story of chronic pain. And do you know what? 10 to 15 minutes later, they said to me, it's approved. You got it. When do you want to start? Now tell me that's not divine intervention. It was. So from there, I started my own talk show in public access called Fibromyalgia Talks. And that's what it's about, talking about all things related to fibromyalgia and chronic pain. And I invite on the show a variety of guests that talk about, chronic pain, how to manage it. I even had one guest from the local salon here in town, J.C. Penney's hair salon, come in and talk about, your own personal grooming when you have chronic pain. Products good for doing your hair. For example, if it hurts to shampoo your hair, they have products called dry shampoo, different things you can use to groom your hair and keep everything together. I had her on the show. I even had someone on the show talking about essential oils using doTERRA products. And I mean, just a variety of guests. I've had chiropractors on the show. I've had representatives from the Arthritis Foundation. And then from there, I branched out into having my talk show on iTunes. It's called The Fibromyalgia Health Detective with your host, Nisi Edwards. And you know what I learned along the way? God taught me something. And that was, guess what? When I took my mind off of me and started branching out and helping others, you know what began to happen for me? That's when there was a shift in my life, a big shift. I still have chronic pain, yes, but God showed me that there was hope for me and that I can survive it and the things I need to do. Now, helping you is helping me. Giving back to you is giving back to me. Because, see, we may come from different walks of life, but when it comes down to chronic pain, we have this chronic pain kinship. We're all in this together. You learn from me, I learn from you. And that's why I started Fibro Patient Education and Support, because of the lack of support that I received when I was first diagnosed with my chronic pain. I had no one in my corner. I had no one that had been there, done that, and can take me by the hand and say, hey, this is what you need to know about managing fibromyalgia. It's going to be all right. Do this. Learn from my experience. I had none of that. None of that whatsoever. And when I did meet someone who could tell me some things, they wanted to charge me a lot of money and I couldn't afford it. And I thought, you know what? This is not working. This is not how things need to be. So that's why I started Fibro Patient Education and Support. Now, I am a certified health and life coach, and I do serve and help people in terms of health coaching for chronic pain. And I do work with people who need help when it comes down to life coaching. And that is something else, another dimension as to who I am. But my rates for that are very affordable, and it's really not about earning money as much as it is helping people. I have a chronic pain course that I am working on to give back to this community that's going to be very, very, very affordable for people to attend and participate in. And the best part of all of this is that my new initiative that I'm working on is a live stream TV show where it's all about you and your journey with chronic pain, giving back to you, and you get to really help me develop that program. I want to hear from you in terms of the guests you feel that would be good to have on the show to interview. What are some of the questions you would like to have? I would like you to also be involved in terms of asking questions to guests. What are some of your questions you want to know about chronic pain? So, on my journey, one of the things that I started doing was keeping a list of ways to make money. Because when you have chronic pain, as many of you know, you may not be able to work your regular job 9 to 5. And many of you, through surveys that I have conducted, have reached out to me and asked me, okay, what are some ways that I can earn money? I can't go back to my former job, things of that nature. So I'm going to be able to help you with that as well. There is no fee for this service in terms of the live stream TV. It's all about giving back to this wonderful community of fibromyalgia and chronic pain warriors. But I really created this video today because I wanted you to learn more about who I am and why I'm very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about giving back because many of you who may have been recently diagnosed with a chronic pain condition, or you may be in the phase of your life that you've had it, you have not been able to find any support, your family doesn't understand you, your partner, your spouse, or whomever, your children, your church members, your friends. I know how difficult that is. I know what it feels like not to have that support. And that's why I'm very passionate about what I do, to give back, to help others. And I want to be your go-to resource to help you manage your pain. We're all in this together. I will be sharing with you, like I'm doing now, my tips and tricks and things that I've learned what to do to manage chronic pain. One of the things that I do for me is I use essential oils, and it's really helping me. I use also a nutritional shake that I make every morning that's helping me, and it's making me feel really good. And the best part about it is that I've started to lose weight, because when you're on all those medications, how the pounds seem to just fly on you. It's like every time they introduce a different drug, there's weight gain. And even when you stop taking medication, the weight is still there, right? So you have to figure out a way to get the weight off. And let's face it, you don't always feel good about working out. So taking these shakes, which is healthy, it's helping me lose weight because it's reduced my appetite. And also, I want to introduce you to something that has really profoundly shaped my life and turned things around in my thought process. So when I mentioned to you that I had a lot of anger, the anger was stemmed from how I was treated previously on the job, and also after the job, not getting any support. Well, I started using EFT techniques, emotional freedom techniques. And when you use EFT, there are different points of the body that you tap on, starting here at the top of your head, here, under your eye, here, other areas. And believe it or not, when I first heard about it, I thought, oh, this is nothing but a lot of woohoo. But you know what? I started trying it, and it works. So I'm going to be sharing all that with you and a whole lot more tips that's really going to improve your quality of life, mind, body, and spirit. And if you have benefited from today's video and I've helped you in any way, I would love to hear from you. So thank you for allowing me to come into your world, and thank you for watching this video. Have a wonderful day.